Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's doing good. Today it's gonna be weird, so with that said, let's go!
I've never seen anything like this, guys. Look at this. How big that storm is, how big that one is, the big one coming from and that's the big one people are talking about, California. Then you look out here to the East Coast, and then this. How are there giant storms across the entire planet? And that's for February 14th. Let's look a little bit more in the future. And we talked about this before, February 16th. Look at the size of this, guys. Stretching from the East Coast to Europe. Just thought I'd give you guys another heads up. February 18th, look at the size of this storm, guys. Touching coast to coast, across continents. February 20th. And possibly the worst day of them all, February 21st. Look at the size of this, guys, coming for Europe, United Kingdom, and Ireland. So, prediction, February is going to be very messy in terms of weather, guys. Just a heads up. But really, guys, legitimately, I've never seen anything like this. Boom, 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 boom. 5 monster storms. What do you guys think? Is this normal? Or is something else going on here?
So there was an earthquake at Area 51. Now, I find this very interesting with the timing because, for those who are paying attention, I Google searched Area 51, and look what I saw. This was before the earthquake happened. Very suspicious. Let me show y'all. Now, this what popped up when I Google image search Area 51. Now, y'all know what this looks like, right? Like what it appears to be. You know, the all-seeing eye. Now, what is that structure at the top left? Almost looks like the Avengers building, right? But, I mean, come on. What the hell is that? And bottom left, look like it could be some type of pyramid, which we know now, allegedly for education and entertainment purposes only, is like a way station of energy, where it holds energy. It's like an energy station, you know what I mean? So, the fact that there was an earthquake after this surfaced on the internet makes you think, was that natural or did it come from a machine? I'm asking the question. What do y'all think? Leave in the comments below. Peace and one love.
I have been studying the UFO phenomena and all these secrets and things like that related to it for a very long time. And yes, Area 51 as well. But for the love of me, I can't remember ever seeing this building. Maybe it's just me, or am I glitching something?
Mark Zuckerberg, you need to stop. Bro didn't even wait 1 full day till after the TikTok ban to launch a competitor to CapCut. If you didn't know, ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, also owns the most popular short-form editing app, which also briefly got banned yesterday. So Zuck not only wanted to take TikTok users, but now they're also launching a short-form editing app called Edits. I'm sorry, but read the room. Not only is the timing of this announcement just cold-blooded, but we are so tired of the copying. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day when America is creating knockoffs of Chinese products. And for anyone keeping track, that's now buying Instagram, copying stories from Snapchat, boomerangs from Fahoto, reels from TikTok, subscriptions from you-know-where, threads from Twitter, and now edits from CapCut. And I probably missed some.
There's a new scary Simpsons theory that I see.
What is it?
And you know that the Simpsons predict a lot.
Yeah.
So before I tell you that, I'm gonna say what the scientists have said recently, and they said that we're gonna experience a solar storm, aka internet apocalypse.
Yeah.
So
there's
during
gonna be like disruptions and shit.
yeah, exactly. So during the solar storm, it could either last a month or years. It's like COVID. We don't know where it ends, but you know what I mean, we don't know who decides that, right? But they've been saying that the sun has been getting super active, and they've been finding holes, super big holes in the sun that have been causing these these solar storms in different parts of the world, right? And the Simpsons, which is so crazy, it's a news episode in 2024 they predicted this. So I'll give you the actual episode so they don't know I'm capping. So in season 24, episode 9, Homer Simpson is in a bunker and he's preparing for like a doomsday thing with Marge. And she's like, they're setting up all the rice, all the beans, because they're like, we don't know how long this is gonna take place.
Yeah.
And then over Springfield, the solar storm happens. Electricity is gone, Wi-Fi is gone. They have to live in that bunker. This is in 2024, fam, and it's happening right now.
Damn, so they predict that shit.
We don't know. It hasn't happened yet, but you know how they predict
No,
stuff.
because, yo,
Many of us have been saying that the sun is gonna do something freaky soon. But now that the Simpsons are telling you, maybe now you will listen. But you'll be happy to know that your governments have been digging and building cities underneath the ground for a very long time now. But if you get a ticket to go inside, I cannot promise you that.
So I'm hearing prophecies from a few different people that something bad's supposed to happen on Monday. Does anybody else have a really weird feeling for what's coming in just a few days? If you say yeah, you're not alone. So let's start by what you're seeing behind me is there's protests going on all over DC saying they refuse to go back and they want certain people to be put in jail. You know, people who are moving in on Monday. And not just the main guy, but his brain chip buddy. But this whole thing gets extremely weird. So there's this kid who had a dream, a prophetic dream, that this person would be at an ice ring, right? Well, do you remember when this bad weather moved in, so they said we're going to do it indoors? Apparently, the kid had the dream before they had made arrangements to go indoors. The kid said it was going to be at a hockey or ice ring, and guess where they're doing the whole thing Monday? Yeah. Now, this takes an awfully weird turn as him and other people had the same exact warning or prophecy of this event coming on Monday, where Brandon Biggs says someone's going to be attacked, but the kid said something worse than that. So there's that dream where a 7-year-old had a dream that something really bad happened on live TV in a hockey arena, and that was before they had set up for him to do the thing I'm covering up stuff with. It's something bad. And we had Brandon Biggs say, this is why I called everyone to pray about this.
I saw 10 major cities of attacks, like I told you.
Don't you like watching all of these predictions after the fact fail miserably? After all the prediction these guys have had turning into literal shit, I would just stop predicting. I wouldn't go in predicting anything unless I were completely certain that that's gonna happen. Just because I have a dream, that doesn't mean that that's gonna happen. It's just an interpretation of what's coming. They were in an ice ring or whatever, but that's it. That's all you predicted right. Good for you.
The Grammys just occurred and people are already talking about how much symbolism can be seen all throughout the show. The first showing of symbolism that many are discussing is how artist Alicia Keys appears to throw up a demonic hand gesture during her speech. Check out that clip.
To everyone who has ever been touched by the music and the message, Clive Davis, Anna and AKW, Dez and my brother Jay-Z, Team Rock, Adam Blackstone, Hell's Kitchen, the Most High.
Many believe that the hand symbol you see here is shouting out a demonic being known as the Baphomet, which is often depicted as holding its hands up in a similar fashion. And while this is what's mainly being talked about, I believe there is another form of symbolism that happened during the Grammys that hardly anyone's mentioning. What I'm referring to is Jaden Smith's outfit. When people first saw it, they were laughing and leaving comments wondering why he's wearing a house on his head. But for starters, I don't believe this is a house, but instead a castle, specifically in reference to the Mothers of Darkness castle, which if you don't know, is known to host some extreme occult and ritualistic activity, as well as being connected to the most elite and rich families in the world. So maybe he was trying to tell us something.
John Blitch, his interview was fascinating.
What happened to him?
He believes that he was potentially abducted even as a child. He would see them outside his window just staring in. And then as an adult, he said, I would do this bike ride because the pressure of my job was just intense. This one bike ride, there are 5 hours unaccounted for. He said, my wife called the police and it's almost like I just closed my eyes and opened them. And he said, it was just a little darker outside. And he said he was the most tired he's ever been. And then he went into a gas station, chugged so much Gatorade, walked out, and the police were like, hey, are you John or whatever? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, you've been missing. Your wife called in. They're concerned about you. Can we give you a ride home?
And he couldn't remember anything besides that.
So no, but then he talks about there was one night he was visited. He said the only way I could describe it was a giant praying mantis, but it could speak to me telepathically.
Tim Alberino talked about him.
Yeah, he did.
Insectolin.
But he talked about this thing was speaking with him telepathically and basically along the lines of stop squirming, let us do our test. We can never hurt your soul. And then he woke up, said, I noticed on my arm 3 bruises inside my arm, like something had grabbed.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Many people out there have phobias, being scared of spiders and creepy crawlies and things like that. Maybe this is the reason why.
paintings on walls depicting extraterrestrials illustrating humanoid-type beings have been discovered. Ancient civilizations throughout the Earth, on all continents, many islands dating back 10,000, 20,000 years ago, shared strange similarities. In caves, inside pyramids, walls, structures, ancient civilizations from different parts of the world would all create similar art illustrating types of extraterrestrials, humanoid beings, flying crafts, strange, unusual symbols. Who are these strange beings that ancient civilizations illustrate in their art?
Apparently, music is just meant to cast a spell on all of us.
I said, David, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. I said, I already know the answers, but I've been gone for 5 years. I'd like to know if certain things are still the way they were when I left. I said, do they still take the master to the temple room? Yeah. I said, do they still have the Coven conjure demons into the master? He said, of course. I said, now, I gotta know something. What's the main reason for rock music? He said, the same as when you were in, so that we can play spells on people that we couldn't cast spells upon.
And that's coming from a guy who was in the music industry. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Stay weird.
This is old news, but still very scary, and so very true. We all need to be careful what we're listening to. You don't want your mind messed with.
Looked like, and this is 1878 when they were flying around in the air. So then we move to this. This I thought was really interesting. So this is an antenna, and look at it. When we look at these temples, we never see this type of design anymore. Like, that's all gone. And there's these really cool videos where you see these temples and they have the charge on top. They're tapping into the static charge, that's what they call it, but the charge that's up on top of them. And then here, right here, we see that again. And then this one doesn't have it, but it has the dragons, which is relating back to also, if you go instead of dinosaurs, you think dragons. So then we move to this one. And we go to the next photo. This is, I thought, was really interesting. Cutting holes in stone and the mound builders that we've been told about. Look at this down here. This one, there's holes, almost like a little house. And this one is interesting too over here, but you look at all of this and go, wow. Somebody understood how to move these gigantic stones and place them perfectly balanced. Look at this. Got a little rod right here. Perfectly balanced them. So this is part of tapping into the realm and things that we just don't know. You know, nobody has a clue on a lot of things, on how things are built, the techniques, the technology, etc. And people are on horses over here, yet moving.
If you like this sort of content, remember to share, like, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos.
If you have never seen how one mushroom connects to another mushroom to form a mushroom web, then sit down, because if you think that looks like cymatics, then you are absolutely correct. The synapse is using vibration to create a vortex. Things as huge as galaxies and as small as quantum particles use vortices to connect things together. If you synchronize radial pulses in a circle, the resulting waves can cause a spin in the interference pattern. Over time, that interference pattern becomes less chaotic and forms nodes. Remember when you double jump somebody on a trampoline? It's the same concept. It just keeps getting focused and keeps getting higher, creating these nodes. If you just vibrate oil and water, you can see this. There are symmetric pulses on that water drop. You get the interference patterns that you see on the sphere, just like in the mycelium. When the waves are strong enough, they double jump a vortex out of the sphere. The connection is the real magic. When they connect, they intertwine, then stabilize and form a connection that can share nutrients and information. The mycelium connection is so efficient, it's been used to reroute the subway system in Tokyo. It's the same process the brain uses to connect neurons together. But ironically, eating a certain type of mushroom increases the entire connectivity of the brain itself. The entire architecture of the universe is connected by the same process that the mycelium uses. No matter what scale you're looking at, this connected pattern will show up. A concept that ancient Egyptians called correspondence, or as above, so below. This is why I love esoteric so much. The easiest way to teach is the easiest way to learn. It connects your brain with the universal brain. They're the same thing.
You know, there are many depictions of the ancient people eating mushrooms and all kinds of psychedelics. Just look at the Sumerians with that pine cone. That is a psychedelic substance right there. That's what they have in the little bag probably. And that's why they were so smart and educated and And that's probably why people were so more intellectually open to other ideas and weren't stuck in this little mind box that many people are stuck in today, unfortunately. But let us hope we can go back to the legalization of a natural substance that the world always gives for free.
A warning has been issued on CNN regarding the threats of mud floods, with explicit instructions to avoid all bodies of water, especially the areas near storm drains, creeks, and rivers. And I can't help but draw parallels to the myth of Tartaria, which also involved mud floods. One cannot help but wonder if such events may have been the catalyst for these myths, only to be forgotten and dismissed by later generations, and that would explain why no one remembers. Again, Tartaria and the Tartarian history is all mythology for now. And just like other ancient mythology, a lot of people do believe in it, ultimately resulting in the reconstruction of infrastructures, but at a lower standard. So in the legends of Tartaria, these mud floods occurred after there were like these direct weapons, these weather control laser weapons that had targeted certain areas. Described weird hurricanes, weird tornadoes, weird earthquakes, wildfires. Consequently, always these huge mega floods that then became mud floods and wiped away entire civilizations. So the technology was so much more advanced before, but because they wanted to like downgrade humanity, they had like a reset era where nobody remembered what happened. People that were no longer alive. So if everybody passed in these natural calamities and these disasters, who populated afterwards? Listen to this story. Again, just mythology. They had this thing that would talk about all of these orphans. And this is where the Cabbage Patch Kid legends come from. From these fields of orphans that were brought in by trains, then unloaded into the Cabbage Patch fields. My question is, where'd they get all of these Cabbage Patch Kids? Like, as story goes, these trains and trains of these orphan children would roll in, then unload all of the orphans in the Cabbage Patch, and there were already parents there predisposed. They're ready to get their child. So mysterious and intriguing. There isn't like a complete mythology story. There are just these bits and pieces. And then we get really involved and curious to learn more because we see all these photographs where we have like these really elaborate buildings on the bottom, underneath, like subterranean. And then on top, we have our cities with our buildings, with our roads. But they're a lot less technologically evolved compared to the old stuff. What do you think? Did the mythology of Tartaria start with something like the natural disasters we're seeing now? I mean, it would make sense.
Are you guys getting all those videos saying that other countries are protesting for us, but I can't see or find one video of other countries protesting for American citizens? And if the censorship is that's scary if that's true, but I don't know. I think there's some shit going on. But I heard one person say the Germans are protesting for us, like everything that's happening over here was exactly what happened pre-Holocaust. So I'm just saying, things I've been speaking towards, like they're trying to take the option away of revolution. You guys better wake up, because the things I say do come true. It's in the script. Christians, I shouldn't be hard to convince y'all at all. Y'all should be going, Dre's telling the truth, even though he don't believe what he says about Christ. I'm literally prophesying what your Bible says. So why do you guys argue with me the most? Make it make sense.
I am from Europe, and we ain't seeing none of that shit around here. All we see here is a TV show gone bonkers. And now, the show has ended, it's time for reality.
You know, I wasn't even going to post on this, and then I saw some clips that changed my mind, and I'll show you those in a moment. But first, Elon Musk yesterday, along with his son Little X, held a press conference in the Oval Office to discuss what Doge is doing. all while Donald Trump watched on silently from his cup chair. And in the aftermath, one of Elon's fanboys shared this tweet that Elon reposted. It says, "History repeats itself," and it shows two images. The first image is a pretty iconic image of JFK Jr. playing underneath his dad's desk while he worked in the Oval Office. And the second is Little X seemingly bored out of his mind, crawling around on the floor while Donald Trump pontificates about what he liked watching from said cup chair. But I can point out at least one glaring difference between these two situations. JFK Jr., as I recall, never had criticisms of his father while the press was there. Little X, on the other hand, has a lot to say, and there was a hot mic that caught some of it. So first is this little gem.
To restore democracy. This may seem like, well...
You heard that too, right? You're not the president, you need to go away. I'll play the clip a second time. Just, you watch and tell me if that's what he said.
To restore democracy. This may seem like...
That's what he said, but I'll go one better. Because he also said this.
The prices from one year to the next are the same? And their mortgage go.
That one's clear as day. He says, "I want you to shut up." And there's already people who are like, out of the mouth of babes, but let me just put this out there for your consideration. A child this young doesn't have this profound moment where he tells off Trump. He just repeats things he's heard. So if he says you're not really the president, chances are someone has said that around him, and he's repeating it. When he says, "I want you to shut," he's either heard someone say that to someone else, or someone has said that to him, and he's repeating it. Either scenario is pretty disturbing. Perhaps the question we should be asking is the same one that Shea Jordan Smith asked on Twitter, which is, why the Elon Musk doing press briefings in the White House from the Oval Office? He is not an elected official. Why is he holding court in the Oval Office? Nothing about this is normal or good.
Y'all, another day, another plane crash. What the fuck is really going on? This is like the 5th crash that has happened in the last 3 weeks, y'all. They throwing the bait out, man. They trying to see who they gonna catch. I'm telling you, something is going on. So this was a U.S. Navy Growler fighter jet that crashed into the San Diego Bay near Shelter Island. So per reports, they say as the plane was heading down, both pilots ejected themselves, where they went into the water and they were rescued by a sport fishing boat. So this incident happened at 10:15 in the morning, and witnesses said they seen the jet take off before it descended rapidly into the water. So when it crashed into the water, it caused a large oil spill. So crews had to go to the scene and had to hurry up and try to contain the spill. So as of right now, the cause of the crash is being investigated, and people are trying to figure out if the military were doing drills. Right now they got boats and everything around the surrounding area because the plane is still submerged in the water.
I believe that these are not accidents at all. This is by design. For what reason? I can only speculate. I have my ideas, but if you have to fly, make sure you can trust the company you're going with.
manches, no lo grabé.
Follow me for your dose of nightmare fuel.
If you compare the size of that guy to the windows and openings on those homes, then yeah, that is one big ass vato.
Let me tell y'all a true story, Bisa Boom. Watch this video to the end. A ghost caught on camera. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go. Who the hell is that? He just disappeared. Shh. Shut up! Look, he just came around the corner with his dog. Even his dog can see that there's something wrong. Get out of there now! Shh. It's not a game, guys. What you think? You think you're in that house alone? There's ghosts there right now. Go check your cameras. Shh. You ever heard noises in your house? While you downstairs, you hear things upstairs. You go upstairs, nobody's upstairs. You hear things downstairs. You go downstairs, nobody's downstairs. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and that video is not real. That must have been special effects, and I was probably actually a person just walking by. Shh. Shut up! It's not a game on you guys. They're everywhere. What you think? You live alone? Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game on you guys. There's ghosts everywhere now. Remember that video with the car that could detect the ghost? Shh, don't you say it. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game on you guys. And guess what? Ghosts exist. Only in the movies. Not in real life. Who the hell told you they see the ghost? They ain't see no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game on you guys, and you know what's going on. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever home and I'm checking my cameras and I see that a ghost is walking around in my house, I'm gonna go right where he's at and just start swinging.
Unsettling facts you probably didn't know. Wherever you are, someone has died in that spot. Most laughs on TV are from the 50s, which means you're hearing dead people. 1 in 5 people sleep with their eyes open. 1 in 8 people die in their sleep. When Apollo 11 landed, it had only 20 seconds of fuel left. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers, and global warming will eventually release them all.
Alright folks, that's the end of these clips. I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Peace out!
हे प्रभु हे हरि राम कृष्ण जगन्नाथ प्रेमानंद ये क्या हुआ? गलाव में पानी आ गया, गामछा भी खुल गया मेरा। लगती ये देखिए।